Hello everyone, welcome back to JMT Ohio Sales. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to be talking today about servicing trucks, and I'm going to cover your Mitsubishis, your Subarus, your Daihatsus, Suzukis, and your Hondas. This is what I use throughout all of them. First thing I do when I get one in is add Marvel Mystery Oil. Marvel Mystery Oil goes into the gas. You can also put it in the oil, but I only use it in the gas. Add Marvel Mystery Oil to the gas. It acts as a cleaner, so it has a lot of detergents in it. It's red. It kind of reminds you of transmission, ATF transmission fluid, but it has a lot of additives into it that help break down carbon, remnants, what ethanol leaves behind. So carburetor trucks, that's a really good thing to put in your gas. It has instructions on the back of it, tells you how much to add. You can add it heavy. I always add a heavy dose to it because I don't know how old the gas is in that truck, how long it's been sitting. So it kind of helps rejuvenate a little bit at the same time. And then I always run 90 octane ethanol free. If you have ethanol free available to you, that's the best thing to use. But if you don't, then just run like a 93 octane or 91, whatever highest octane you have. Japan usually runs, I believe, between 90 and 98 octane. So they run a little higher octane over there than what we do here in America. And they also still sell leaded gas over there. So some things to think about when you're gassing them up. Now we're going to go into the oils and the additives that I use across all makes and models of Japanese mini trucks. So LUBE oil treatment. They're a locally family-owned and operated company here in Southern Ohio. I haven't been down to see them yet. I do plan on, hopefully in the near future, seeing them and meeting everybody because I absolutely love their product. I promote it. I'm not paid. I've never talked to them on the phone. I just buy their product. I've researched them. I've watched all their videos, and it's just an amazing product. They do comparisons to their competitors, testing them in their most pure form, and they outperform everybody. It's not a thick additive. It's just the same as motor oil as far as consistency, but it has a lot of additives in it that conditions the metal. When you condition the metal, it makes the engine freer. The conditioners that's in it presses into the metal. So any small imperfections of stuff like that, it's going to press in there and make a smooth surface again. In your bearings, your cylinder walls, when it starts conditioning your cylinder walls, you're going to see a little better compression. It's going to make everything last longer. And if I can add a little bit of LUBE to all the oil that I change already to help the customer out and make their vehicle last and perform to its best capabilities, that's what I like to do. I don't like just selling anything to everybody. I don't sell junk. So that's how I feel about LUBE. Oh, I also use the Extreme EP2 grease. This stuff is really good. It has a really good consistency to it. They use, it's a red tacky grease, but it's very smooth and slick. They use the same conditioners in their grease as they do in their oil. I'll buy it by the tube and by the tub. You can get that on their website. That is a 1 quart can, and you can get a tube of grease for $50. This is going to go a long ways because you're only adding 1 to 2 ounces per quart. So it doesn't take a whole lot to treat a whole truck. When I go to change out transmission differentials, I use just a regular old 80/90. Some people say 75, 90, whatever, but 80/90 is what I use. I add Pro Lube to it, usually just over 1 ounce per quart. So I'll use this in the transmission, the rear end, and the front differential as well. Moving on to the oil, I use the Shell Rotella T4 10W30. Just a regular conventional 10W30 will be fine. You can use synthetic, but keep in mind, synthetic has a higher flow rate. So it's going to run through your bearings faster, and it's not going to have the viscosity in between your bearings. So if you start running a full synthetic and you start hearing a little rattle, that's typically what it is. It's not that the oil is bad, it's that the engine has wear. In your seals as well, your front and rear main seals, your oil pump seals, and your valve seals, they get hard over time. And typically everyone's running 25 and older trucks. You're running, you might have a truck that's super low miles that's been sitting a lot, and those rubbers dry up. And when you run a high flow oil, it's going to find its way through the weak point of those seals, and you're either going to start consuming oil or leaking oil. It's a possibility. But if you have a fresh rebuild engine, you can run a 1030 full synthetic, no problem. If I have a truck that's newer, 5 years or newer, I'll put synthetic in it just because it's a better oil. It really is, but everything's newer in that engine, so you don't have to worry about seals leaking or it bypassing anything. So that's my thought on conventional versus synthetic. A lot of people say that Rotella, it's a diesel oil, but I mean, really, it's just a 10W30 conventional oil. I've had good luck with 10W30 Rotella throughout the years. I've known people using 1540 in their trucks. So kind of preference. If you're in a cold climate, use a 5W30. Let the oil flow better when it's cold. As far as filters, don't skimp out with your filters. If you want to buy whatever 10W30 is on sale, that's fine. But don't get the cheapest filter you can, because filtration is it's just as important as having lubricated engine. So I run K&N, and throughout all the models, these are the 2 filters that I use. I just have this genuine Daihatsu filter sitting here for comparison on size wise. The 1010, so this is I'll put the box up here. This is a K&N 1010 SO, and you can get the HP 1010, but the only difference between this SO and the HP K&N filter is that the can on the HP has a nut on top, so you can easily unscrew it when you're removing it off the engine. The SO stands for screw on. It does not have the nut on top. It has the same thickness of can, the same gauge of metal, which is a higher gauge than almost all the oil filters out there. So what fits this 1010 is Mitsubishi, your Honda, and Subaru uses the 1010. When you're doing cross references on, say, a Wix, and you want to go to a K&N, you're going to get the oil filter number for K&N's 1008. I don't use the 1008 because it's the same height as this one. You know, there's a good inch, maybe inch and a half just by looking at it from my eye. This will give you better filtration. There's a taller media inside here, and a little bit extra oil capacity. Not much, but the biggest thing is it has bigger media inside for filtration. If you look, all the holes to allow oil to get into that filter at a high flow rate. And we'll compare this Daihatsu genuine. You just got a few holes there. Easiest place to get these SOs, K&Ns. You don't hardly see them in stores, but you can get them online, Amazon. Trying to think where else I've seen them, but I typically just get them off Amazon because it's easiest for me. And they're about $10 a filter. The HP with a nut on the top, it's $15 a filter. So you're getting the same filter, different color, with a nut on top. And the thicker can is very important too if you're off-road a lot. Things flying up off the ground that your tires might catch, sticks, branches, stuff like that. You're going to have a harder time puncturing or knocking this can off because it is made out of a thicker gauge metal than most. Your Mobil One oil filter, the media inside is almost identical to a K&N. So you find Mobil One filters, those are also good too. I recommend those as well. So the smaller filter, I haven't looked too hard to find a taller one, but this is normally the same height as a factory filter. And that is why when you do cross references, you'll get the 1008 instead of the 1010 because of the size, the height of it. Same diameter filters. I mean, they're identical. They're just taller. We'll get that's a pretty good view of it there too. So your Walmarts, check out your Walmarts. They're clearancing out K&N products. So I found these on clearance, I don't know, a while back. I don't use a whole lot of these because I normally deal with Mitsubishis and stuff like that. So Suzuki's, I've got, those used from Suzuki. So your Suzuki's, the Daihatsus, use the 1003 K&N. Everything else I use a 1010 on. Very common question I usually get on servicing, changing oil is how often to do it. I always tell people it's really depends on how you drive it, where you're driving it, how hard you drive it. You got to keep in mind they are very high RPM turning engine due to being low geared. So I always tell people 3,000 kilometers, maybe 4. Really depends on how you drive it, though. How hard are you on it? Are you running high RPMs a lot? And are you running around on the farm, putting around with it? I mean, it's all a factor. So if you're out running, we'll say 90 kilometers quite often, you're usually turning about 5,000 RPM. So, I think that would fall into the 3,000 kilometer oil change. Could you probably get more out of it? Yeah, probably. But at the same time, your engine oil is the life of the vehicle. It's the blood that keeps everything lubricated and keeps your engine clean, keeps you from having future failings internal of the engine. So it's a good insurance to change your oil frequently, and it's cheap. So, I mean, if you're putting around the farm, you're not running it hard, 4, maybe 5,000 kilometers. Just check on it, make sure it's not using and it's full of oil all the time. So it's debatable on how you're driving it, is the way I see it. I'll show you. This is a Mitsubishi mini cab. This is a 2001 model 3G83 fuel injected. There's your 1010. Let's see if we can get a number. Oh, it's on the back side, I believe. But that is the 1010 on a 3G83. And U42, U62Ts, that is what I use on. I believe that's a 17 mil drain plug. Mitsubishis are very easy to change oil on. If you have one, you already know. Appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Check out LUBE. Give them a chance. Don't be shy. And we'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe. I'll leave links down in the description for Amazon on these filters. And I'll leave a link for that and the Marvel as well. So appreciate you guys. And make sure to tune in, subscribe, check us out. And appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Stay blessed.